The movie begins with a man named Sebastian. He is a YouTuber and also a locksmith. Sebastian greatly idolizes the famous safe maker named Hans Vagner, an old man. So in ancient times in Munich, an ancient building on the outskirts of the city was once the workshop of a renowned locksmith named Hans Vagner. After the tragedy of losing his wife and child, Wagner created a series of 4 safes inspired by Richard Wagner's legendary opera, The Ring Cycle. These safes were considered puzzles that could only be solved by those worthy of their secrets. However, the final safe, which was the ultimate goal of Hans Vagner, containing his sorrow and suffering, was never opened. Wagner was buried with this safe, and the whereabouts of the other safes remain a mystery. After finishing making the video, Sebastian uploads it to YouTube. However, none of them are watched, even though he has made many videos. The next day, Sebastian will go to work. When he arrives at his workplace, he sees on the television news that several places are in chaos due to zombies. Then, when Sebastian opened his laptop, he found that his video on YouTube had been watched once and someone left a comment there. The comment contains a challenge. When Sebastian arrives at the location, he must say the password to enter. The password is "Get it Demerone." Sebastian accepted the challenge. That night, he went there to face the challenge. In short, Sebastian arrived at the location and was detained by a guard. By saying the previous password, Sebastian was eventually allowed to enter. Sebastian was immediately taken to the competition venue. Even he himself didn't know that he was one of the participants there. He tried asking other participants, but there was no response. The competition began. Sebastian remained silent while the other participants had already started moving. Eventually, Sebastian began as well. It was apparent that the participants managed to open the safes first. Then Sebastian, the 4th and last participant, succeeded in advancing from the first round. Next is the second round, where the 4 participants are faced with safes that are more difficult than before. Only the 2 fastest participants will advance to the final round. While everyone was trying, one participant managed to escape after opening the safe. Eventually, Sebastian also succeeded in opening it.
Please finish from me.
Arriving at the final round, where the safes are undoubtedly more difficult than before. There is only one winner who will win by opening it faster. As the final match began, Sebastian's opponent was very excited and immediately rushed to open his safe, but Sebastian didn't do anything. As 1 minute remained, his opponent told Sebastian to be quiet while Sebastian was trying to chat that the safe was very difficult to open. 30 seconds left, Sebastian only started trying to open the safe. By touching the safe with his palm, it seemed as if he could see the safe's algorithm. While his opponent was frustrated, the audience was amazed by Sebastian's ability. One audience member caught Sebastian's eye. She was Gwen, a girl who was the only one smiling at him. The next day, Sebastian ordered a drink at a coffee shop. Unexpectedly, he met the girl who had smiled at him the night before. After they got acquainted, Gwen's background turned out to be quite sad. She was from a wealthy family, but since childhood, she disliked that lifestyle and preferred adventure and challenges. Nevertheless, Gwen became a great thief and robber. As a result, she became a wanted criminal by the police. Moreover, Gwen was also like a spy. She knew what time Sebastian came to the place, while the people in the coffee shop had their belongings stolen without any knowledge. Here, Gwen offers to collaborate with Sebastian. She asks him to join her as a team to open the ring cycle. So that's the Wagner safe mentioned at the beginning of the video. Gwen explained that within 96 hours, the owner of the Wagner safe would move and deactivate it. Therefore, the puzzle created by Wagner throughout his life will be destroyed. Hence, before that happens, Gwen intends to break into it. Sebastian, who greatly admires Wagner's work, is interested in that. He is very excited and dreams of being able to solve the puzzles created by Wagner. Therefore, Sebastian joins Gwen. The next day, Sebastian came to Gwen's residence. The place served as their team's headquarters, where she introduced each member of her team to Sebastian one by one. The first one is a girl named Karina. She is a hacker, where in her childhood, she once hacked into the security system of a major film studio and stole early copies of unreleased films. Next, the second one is a man named Rolf. He is the best and fastest getaway driver. He even managed to escape with a robber using someone else's car without being noticed. Lastly, there's a strong man named Brad. Since childhood, he has been bullied by his friends. This made him determined to become strong so he wouldn't be oppressed anymore. Nevertheless, they all underestimated Sebastian. However, Gwen explained that without Sebastian, they wouldn't be able to crack any safe. Then, Karina explained that after 3 years of investigation, there is a small bank in Paris that has the Rheingold. The safe consists of 413 million combinations. After that, there's Valkyrie. With high security systems, the safe is located in Prague, where there are 235 billion combinations. Lastly, there's Siegfried. The safe is located in St. Moritz, Switzerland, and has 72 trillion combinations. After they devised the plan, the next day they acted on their respective tasks. First, Sebastian would disguise himself as someone using the restroom for a bowel movement.
And found people go into the back.
Next, Gwen followed. Her task was to steal the key from a security guard, and then she would pretend to be a customer who wanted to see a safety deposit box that had been altered with a fake name. Meanwhile, Karina's task was to ensure that the teller left the room by pretending to speak in a foreign language. After hearing the information from Karina, Gwen picked up Sebastian in the bathroom, then went to the room where the safe was placed. Then, the Rheingold safe appeared before them. Sebastian, with a little warm-up and a calming touch of music, carried out his task. After a while, Sebastian successfully opened one of Wagner's creations, the Rheingold. Inside, there wasn't too much money. However, what they wanted was to solve the puzzle. After they took a sufficient amount of $500 bills, Brad became the last distraction, while Rolf stayed in the car and hurriedly fled when they returned. At the Interpol office, a man named Delacroix investigates the incident. After viewing the CCTV footage, he discovers that the safe crackers are individuals he had previously arrested and who are now free. Delacroix knew the criminal's goal, which was to find the masterpiece of Hans Vagner. Therefore, he could immediately guess the next safe target, which was Valkyrie. That night, they held a party after successfully cracking one of Wagner's safes. At that moment, Sebastian went to meet Gwen, and there he told her a lot. It seems Sebastian likes Gwen. As they told each other about their childhoods, Brad appeared jealous and complained to Rolf upon realizing that Sebastian was with Gwen. After that, they discussed the next safe they would crack. Before the next day, they took action. During the journey, Brad advised Sebastian to focus. This time, Brad's tone seemed to scare Sebastian. It appeared Brad was still upset about what happened last night when he spent time alone with Gwen. Meanwhile, Interpol, having suspected the criminal activity that would occur in Prague, was on guard and ready with all teams. To kick off their operation, Sebastian brought a suitcase and a fake ID card. The card was just an ordinary one, but with Karina's hacking skills, it seemed as if Sebastian gained access through the card. Karina guided Sebastian using the elevator and also told Gwen to go to the 4th floor. In the CCTV room, the officers felt something was amiss because Sebastian's image disappeared after passing through a door. Then Sebastian pretended to unlock the door, when in fact, the door was already open due to Karina's action. Finally, Sebastian met Gwen and entered the elevator to the safe. As the elevator opened, they were confronted by 2 security guards on duty there. Promptly, Gwen disabled the guards. As the 2 guards couldn't stand, Gwen promptly sedated them so they wouldn't be aware of what was happening there. As usual, Sebastian played his favorite music to calm himself down so he could focus on opening the Valkyrie in front of him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Meanwhile, Interpol was impatient and tried to enter immediately. The CCTV guard activated the alarm upon seeing Sebastian's suspicious behavior recorded on camera. When Interpol arrived, they were surprised to find that they had gone to the wrong bank. Then they hurriedly left after hearing from the security guard there that the safe had been exchanged for another bank. On the other hand, Brad devised a backup plan when they were discovered. He went to the bank wearing a mask as a robber and incapacitated all the guards there using a tranquilizer gun. Returning to Sebastian in the safe room, he immediately performed his task and showcased his skills with great enthusiasm. He could see Wagner's work. However, Sebastian made a mistake, causing the safe key to disappear and reappear after a few moments. If he makes another mistake, the safe will be locked forever. Sebastian resumed his task, this time feeling extremely nervous. Sebastian paused for a moment, then turned the safe door. Surprisingly, Sebastian managed to open it. Without delay, they grabbed some money there, filled their bags, then left the place. Meanwhile, Brad, as he was about to leave the place, was intercepted by a guard, prompting him to run away. Then people ran away from the bank. Sebastian and Gwen took advantage of that situation. Brad, who was shot in the arm, managed to get into the car. At that moment, the car had started moving. Gwen and Sebastian chased after the car. Gwen managed to get into the car, while Sebastian was left behind by Brad. The chase began when Interpol arrived. Sebastian fled on a bicycle, eventually managing to escape the pursuit by boarding a train. On the other hand, Brad and the others had arrived at a village. Gwen decided to leave the team because of Brad's excessive behavior. He did this out of love for Gwen and didn't want Gwen to turn away just because Sebastian was close to her. Finally, Gwen got out of the car, and suddenly Karina also left the team to follow Gwen. The reason Karina followed Gwen is because she had been planning for years to hack the ring cycle. Then the two of them walked to meet Sebastian. In short, the three of them met. Gwen and Karina persuaded Sebastian, and eventually, they all agreed and formed a team to hack Siegfried. The next day, they planned their next heist, Siegfried with 70 trillion combinations. However, Interpol was already on alert, having intercepted radio communication indicating the plan would take place at 5 in the morning. In short, Interpol immediately moved to capture the safe crackers. Upon entering a casino, they found that the management had moved the safe an hour and a half earlier. It should still be there as it was scheduled to be moved at 5 o'clock. However, when Interpol arrived, they found that the safe had already been relocated. We go back to 8 hours ago. It turns out the radio communication was to deceive Interpol by stating that the plan would take place at 5 o'clock. Interpol, which intercepted the communication, would act according to the plan. However, Karina contacted the casino manager and disguised herself as an Interpol member to immediately request moving the safe 1.5 hours earlier due to security reasons. The casino agreed. Therefore, Gwen took control of the truck carrying the safe, while Sebastian was inside to hack it, and Karina kept watch from the casino in case there were any pursuing Interpol members. As the safe was loaded onto the truck, with Gwen as the driver, Sebastian began cracking the Siegfried safe inside the truck. At the casino, Karina, upon noticing Brad's phone, attempted to prevent his foolish actions. However, she was too late as they had already left. Instead, Karina was caught by Interpol after leaving her hiding place upon sending a message to flee. After 30 minutes passed, Sebastian finally managed to open the safe. Siegfried, Wagner's magnificent masterpiece. Then they went down and left the safe. However, Brad came threateningly with a pistol to discuss that he wanted to be on the team with Gwen again. Brad's words seemed absurd, so Gwen rejected his request. Brad, who had anticipated it, immediately fired the gun at Sebastian. However, the gun didn't work because Gwen had swapped it beforehand. Then Gwen turned around and threatened them with her gun, handcuffing Brad and Rolf behind the truck. Eventually, Interpol arrived to arrest them. Upon reaching the lake's edge, they planned to leave using a boat. However, Delacroix had already arrived there and pointed a gun at them, demanding their surrender. Gwen refused and turned the gun on him as well. An exchange occurred here. Gwen requested Sebastian's release in exchange for her surrender, which Delacroix ultimately agreed to. With a heavy heart, Sebastian left Gwen using the bow prepared there, while Gwen was arrested by Interpol. One day in California, a man and a woman were seen looking for a professional locksmith. They showed a picture of a safe called Get a Demo. They offered to crack the safe for a large fee, making Sebastian willing to do it. However, the movie ends.